Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your June 2017 love reading for single people. It's Raina here, and as you can see, I've already laid out the cards. I've had a few issues with false starts, not just with you, but with other signs that I actually, my memory card was full, and then it didn't show that the readings had even been recorded. So I've had to start from scratch. But I'd only done a couple of readings. This time I decided to start with Sagittarius. And I want to kind of let you know also that these readings are not meant to predict anything in your life. Maybe they will totally resonate with you. They're more a way to see your situation from a philosophical point of view rather than just thinking that everything is happening to you, that you don't have any control over your life. Because I feel like even when things are destiny, there are also things that we can choose to do and things that we can choose not to do that affect the situation. In other words, I don't feel there's just one timeline. And so it just seems like a lot of readings emphasize that kind of like, this is what's going to happen, and I don't think it works that way. And I think it's more important to talk about your responsibility, not what other people are doing. So, having said that, let me begin. The overall theme or concern, situation, Ace of Wands. This is the beginning of something that is very exciting, thrilling. A relationship, that initial stage. Maybe it's with another fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There's a lot of fire energy here. The Ace of Wands is beginning something that feels like it has passion attached to it. It's not just the idea of, wow, I've met this person and I want to have their children. I want to have a house with them or something very practical. It's just like, this person makes me feel alive. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. And for a Sagittarian, that's going to be a good thing. Well, let me just keep going, because looking at the past can often speak to what is going on. And remember, too, that the past depends on when you record the reading. So I'm recording this on May 11th. And so the past may not have happened to you yet, depending on when you watch this. The Knight of Wands is the past position. Now, the Knight of Wands actually connects to Sagittarius. I connected to Aries. Definitely fire energy. The other fire sign is Leo. This may be a person in your past. This could be a womanizer, a type of person who does not settle down easily, that you may have been involved with, and that person is out of the picture. Or it could be that you just met this person, and now you're in that new relationship. Sometimes this is about having an affair, something that's not a serious relationship. But definitely with those two cards in tandem, it could be that you meet somebody who is a fiery temperament, if not actually a fire sign, and you are forming a relationship with this person. And this is what is happening now with you, the Queen of Wands. I do tend to assign gender to the court cards, so this would be a female fire sign. Definitely a lot of people watching this are women. This could be you, so maybe the spark has come back into you as a Sagittarian. I think this connects to Sagittarius too, and I've said this before, that with the sunflower, you think it would be Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun. But whatever, the sunflower is probably meant to show that sunny nature, that this person has because of their temperament, that they're very positive in their thoughts and their behaviors. And so you may meet somebody that gives you that feeling. And obviously it's within yourself. It's not that somebody's giving it to you. But what happens is that when somebody sees you in a positive light, that allows you to see the good side of you. Just like you know how it is. If somebody points out your flaws and they seem not to accept you, it tends to bring out the worst in you. Well, this tends out to bring out the best in you. And if you are involved with somebody who is a fire sign person in general is going to be a booster of your enthusiasm because they are like you in their way of thinking. They're very positive. I keep, repeating the word positive because I can't think of another word that really proactive, sees the glass half full, optimistic. There's another word. And that's great, That's really great. Oh, it's funny. The higher message is the Strength card, which is associated with Leo. So maybe the higher message is, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's a Leo. And as a higher message, sometimes, who knows, maybe this is somebody who's a platonic friend, who isn't really somebody that you even considered romantically, who either, they make a move on you or you realize that this is the person that you should be with. Sometimes, it's kind of funny. Sometimes people think that the person that they get along with the best, is good friendship material. But, the person that keeps them on their toes and they never know what's going on with that person, that must be my romantic partner, because I feel so unsure around this person. The person who I can rely on, who always has my back and always says good things, that's my friend. So it can be one of those things where you have to rearrange your ideas about what constitutes a relationship. Also, the Strength card as a spiritual message could be telling you that you have made it through something. Maybe you have been through a difficult time. Sagittarians, I'm one, have had Saturn in the same sign. So that can be challenging. I personally think that, I'm thinking back to when Saturn went into Sagittarius, I haven't noticed anything that's been, really intensely challenging. Obviously, we do have our moments, but some people, maybe it has been very difficult for you. And now you feel like you can breathe easier. Maybe now you have a skip in your step. And before you were in a situation that felt kind of depressing or even hopeless, if it was a relationship with somebody who was not feeding your soul. That's the best way of putting it. The card that crosses you is the Judgment card. I will say, and this is only because this card connects to, I believe it's Pluto, that it could be like a Scorpio person who is problematic and maybe still trying to get in your life. As a challenge card, the Judgment card could be that there are still things that need to be dealt with in your private life related to perhaps another relationship, maybe a marriage that has not been finalized, a divorce, I should say. Maybe there are issues with the courts or something. Maybe you have child custody issues. And this is kind of, for some people, it may be draining your energy. At the very least, it may be distracting you from being able to move on and to experience some of the things that you've been wanting to do. And so that's something to really consider. Because if you have, let's say you have separated from someone and you're living a separate life, but you haven't made the move for whatever reason, that lack of the legal judgment could be, even like on a energetic level, maybe keeping you tied to that person. A lot of people don't understand that because they think to themselves, well, I don't want to pay the money, or you know what it is. I mean, I personally don't believe that these are like kind of artificial constructs, marriage, divorce, all these things. That doesn't mean, when you get married, it doesn't mean that you love somebody. When you get divorced, it doesn't mean that you stop loving them. So it's not that I'm saying that those things make, change your feelings, but when you have decided that you don't want to be tied to a certain person, then you may like legally try to get totally disconnected or unconnected, whatever the proper term is, so that you can move on truly and not have any kind of joint things to deal with. And that could be, something could be kept up or held up from that. I'm trying to think of another possibility, because the card, the Judgment card, can speak to the chickens coming home to roost, like karma being actualized. And also a sense of rebirth. So I think it's along the same lines of what I just said. I think that if you've been in a relationship that is over with and you totally do not want to go back to that person, but you still have ties to them in some way, that may be keeping you involved with them on a very subtle level instead of truly moving on with your life. The advice, or what's coming in, is represented by the Hierophant. Now, this kind of goes along with what I just said. This is a card of marriage and other institutions conforming to society. So if you have been saying, well, it really doesn't matter if we get divorced and I'm living in a separate place and da da da, it may not matter in terms of whether you see that person, but you may still have a tie to that person. So you may want to consider your options. The other thing about this card is to look at whether you are trying to be something that you're not. Are you trying to fit into a particular culture, or particular, if you live in a particular area that is not in resonance with how you are? You may be usually Sagittarians are rebels. So if you're living in a very conservative area, you may feel like you're an outsider, but it's because you have chosen to live somewhere that doesn't resonate with your very, way of being. And, there may be reasons for that, but you have to decide whether or not you're going to be something you're not in order to gain acceptance. And then there's the possibility that this card could be talking about that kind of commitment. Yes, they could be talking about legal commitment, but I'm seeing it in a more symbolic sense, where it's saying, are you picking people based on a future with them? Because this card is right underneath the Knight of Wands. And so you have to decide whether or not people that you're involved with are, if they meet that criterion of being someone that you could spend the rest of your life with, or if it's just out for a good time. The Knight of Wands is just out for a good time. And so that could be advice, is to look at that. The other thing too is that the Hierophant could relate to Taurus. So if there's a Taurus person that is in your life, or that you might meet a Taurus person. The outcome is the Lover's card. Sometimes the Lover's card can mean a choice. This is connected to the sign of Gemini. So it's very interesting. In May, we go from Taurus to Gemini. So if you're watching this in May, maybe there's timing issues surrounding that. But this could be getting intimate with someone, this falling in love in the month of June. When I say getting intimate, you may have somebody, maybe it is actually a Leo, somebody that maybe you're talking to somebody and you take it to the next level. But I mean, to end a love reading with the Lover's card, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So I don't know if this makes sense to some of you. I'm sure that some of the cards might. If you'd like a personalized reading, Sagittarius, you can click on the link below this video to go to my web store. Otherwise, I wish you all the best in June. Bye.